Good evening, everybody, and welcome in to another deep dive into a new movie, which is the other side, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, the sequel. I went yesterday. Yesterday in theaters, it was huge. Yeah, welcome into another deep dive. I've done this before with Elvis, doing it now again. So, first off, huge spoiler alert. I'm going to talk about everything that's in this movie. I think I'm not capable of doing spoiler-free reviews, so I'm just going to talk about this movie, spill out my thoughts again on the screen as I did last time. I was dumb enough, actually, to wear a green shirt in front of a green screen. So if it's a bit whack today, I'm sorry. I didn't feel like going downstairs to get another pair of t-shirts. So that's on me. So yeah, let's jump into this. First off, I went yesterday into well, it wasn't a huge crowd. It's opening weekend. I'm a big Marvel fan. Let's get that out of the way. I'm a huge Marvel fan of the movies. I didn't read much of the comics, although I know a lot of the characters. Usually I look them up, read about them. Black Panther. I was very hyped for this movie because the MCU has been kind of slipping lately. Slipping. That's just my opinion. I've seen everything, like the shows, the series, and the series didn't appeal to me as much. Also, Thor: Love and Thunder didn't appeal to me as much either. I don't know. It wasn't a home run for me. So I was very excited for this movie to watch Wakanda Forever because the last Black Panther was awesome. And yeah, I was just really curious how they're gonna put this into the MCU, make Wakanda, return to Wakanda, and of course, without Chadwick Boseman as King T'Challa, because he passed in 2020, I believe, and yeah, it was just very curious to see what would happen, what was gonna happen. Everything about this movie was a mystery, so it would be great to see what was gonna happen. Let's jump into the story. So the story here starts off with Shuri. We follow Shuri. Actually, the movie starts with a very emotional, true-to-life scene in which King T'Challa, so Chadwick Boseman's character, is dying from an unknown disease, and Shuri's trying to save him, trying to get a cure. And because there are no heart-shaped herbs right now because of what's his name again? Oh, Eric Killmonger. He destroyed all the little plants, so there's nothing to save him. Shuri can't get a cure or can't find a cure, and he tragically dies. Of course, T'Challa, in the whole of the MCU, he died, which was a good decision in my opinion. It's very hard to deal with the passing of the actor, and they pay beautiful tribute to him through this with his funeral, the music, the chest the coffin, the coffin where he's in, and just after that the Marvel, with who we all know, the little Marvel clip is shown, and it's just Chadwick Boseman with everything and no music, which was very strong, very heavy, and yeah, really, he hits you. Yeah, really hits you. It's an emotional punch, as you will. Anyway, the story here is that Wakanda. What is the story here? Wakanda. You see, Wakanda. T'Challa tragically passes. The big villain here is Namor. Namor the Submariner. And Namor the Submariner is one of Marvel's oldest characters. I think it was thought of in 1939 or something. It's one of the first mutants, but not really. There are a couple of mutants who came before him, but he's a mutant. He says it in the movie as well, because they bought the right to Fox. Great. So Deadpool can become the MCU, but that's a different story. Not for tonight. He's a mutant, and Namor, somebody made a device that seeks out vibranium, which is a threat because vibranium is very rare, and they would find Wakanda, and we find out that Talukan, I believe, it's called Talukan. It's the place where Namor comes from because he's from underwater. They have a lot of vibranium too. So Namor here is threatened by the surface world, which he hates, because they want to come after his vibranium and they will find out about him. So he decides to come up there and goes to Wakanda because he believes Wakanda can help him. I believe Wakanda should help him. It's more or less a threat. I know Namor comes to Wakanda in a beautiful scene first before he comes out of the water, where Angela Bassett, do I say that right? Angela Bassett, her character, she plays Ramonda, of course, the mother and the queen of Wakanda right now. She has She has a scene with Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, which is amazing, by the way. She plays Shuri like no other, and Shuri becomes the main focus in this movie. But Namor comes to Wakanda because he's threatened by the machine who can find vibranium. And this is a threat to Wakanda as well. So he actually wants them to help him find a scientist who made the thing and kill him. And because they have ties to the surface world, they should find him. And he really makes that look like a threat. He doesn't want to come back and do worse things to Wakanda. But, eventually they find the scientist because of their friend, what's it called? Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman. Awesome actor, by the way. He gives them a tip who made it, and it's a student actually called Riri Williams. Riri Williams, which we find out is a genius and made the machine in like 3 months or something. Which Shuri is out on that mission with Okoye. Okoye is great, as always. Okoye is an amazing character, love her. Shuri is with her, and they gotta get that scientist before Namor gets to her and, bring her back to Wakanda, because they don't really agree with Namor's ways. Namor is a very interesting character, by the way, because he got wings on his ankles, which looked weird at first, but definitely worked. Of course, he can breathe on the water, which is great. Awesome. I mean, it's basically the Aquaman of the MCU. And, he has pointy ears as well. So, this is a whole bunch of whack. But, he really wants to kill the scientist because it's a threat to his country. Because he has vibranium. They take her, Riri, because the feds are after her as well, apparently. And, they take her to Wakanda after a long... Well, they try to take her to Wakanda on that mission, but that horribly fails and gets Shuri and Riri actually kidnapped by Namor. Because after a huge fight scene with Okoye and the blue people, I know the city is called Talukan, but his followers, I don't fucking know. But awesome fight, by the way. They get taken, and Okoye gets relieved of her duty because she lost the only family the queen had left, which was Shuri. And she promised not to, lose her, but yeah, she did. She did lose her. She lost her, and they get taken to Talokan, wake up in an underwater cave. Namor is there to negotiate, of course. And well, it's a beautiful scene. They're there, and Namor... Shuri really wants to see Talokan, and Namor takes her in a suit. She can't go that deep, but in a suit she goes there, and you can see the similarities between Wakanda and Talokan, because it's the same. It's a secluded area away from the world with their own communities and own political views and everything. It's so the same, and I know Shuri can see that. They have their own greeting, like Wakanda has this, and they do... What was it? That? Something like that. And he's king, and he needs to protect his people, and she's, well, not queen yet, her mother is, and she needs to protect her people. They come back up, and they have a good scene together where they talk about negotiating. He really wants to kill the scientist, the girl from 19. She's really young, and and she wants to save her, find a peaceful solution. Which I forget to mention is that when they're trying to escape before they get captured, we find out that Riri has Stark tech. Well, she said he made it herself, but it's just a Stark suit. It's an Iron Man suit. Really early Iron Man suit, which he can fly in. Which was, well, surprising. I don't know. We know our Riri is Ironheart in the comics. Yeah, it was just weird to see that tech again, I guess. It's not exactly that tech, but they use the close-up in the suit scenes, like Iron Man did. Which is awesome, but yeah, getting used to it. But they get taken, and they have a beautiful scene where he wants to, a beautiful scene. I mean, it's a good scene where he really wants to, for his people, kill her. And Shuri doesn't. And the scene takes a whack turn where Namor just really wants to burn the whole surface world because he had a bad experience as a kid with slavery. And he just hates the surface world, which is, hard to negotiate with because he's the only community living underwater, so he hates everything but his own community. So, all of the while, her mother, Ramonda, is trying to save them when they get captured, of course. She relieved Okoye of her duty. Beautiful scene as well. So many tear-jerking scenes as well. Relieves her of her duty because she failed and goes and to find Nakia. Do I say that right? Look it up. Nakia, who lives in Haiti right now because she's the best spy in there. She left after Endgame, we find out, which we didn't see, but it's been so many years after Endgame, 6-7 years, something like that. And she asks her to help her out to get them out, and she finds them while Ramonda is going on a chat with Namor to talk about the conditions, talk about how to get her daughter back. Is her daughter okay? This is a ruse, however, because Nakia is getting them back. Is going into the underwater cavern where she found them because of the beads Shuri still had. I mean, she lost her own beads, but she had the earrings. And she helps them, but kills someone from Talokan in the process. Which Namor gets back, he finds out she's dead. She dies in his arms, and they escape before Namor came back and get to Wakanda. But this means war, and Shuri knew that. Shuri tried to save that woman from Talokan, but couldn't because they had to go to Wakanda. But this meant war, and war came. They attacked Wakanda slightly after. Not long after they attacked Wakanda on a huge scale. Just a lot of water bombs. They have these water bombs. Oh shit, my green screen. They have these water bombs. A lot of people died. A lot of people, they also, I forgot, they have this power like sea nymph, something like mermaids. You see it in Pirates of the Caribbean as well. When they sing a song, people get, brainwashed in wanting to walk into the ocean, and people do that. And they start off the attack in that way, and a lot of people from Wakanda just jump into the ocean, which is kind of dark because they just get pulled under and probably drowned. But they get rid of that very quick. But this is a one-sided war. I mean, Namor and the Talokan people just destroy Wakanda. Not whole Wakanda, but more like the capital. And in the process, which I didn't expect to happen, is that Ramonda, Shuri's mother, and the queen of Wakanda dies in this attack. She drowned in saving Riri in the process because they were in the throne room. And, Namor, his plan already was to kill Ramonda. You can see it. He fights off a couple of ships. He jumps with his little ankle wings into the air, and it looks sick. By the way, you wouldn't think it would, but it looks amazing. And he destroys the ships, and after that, tries to kill Ramonda. Throws in a couple of bombs, water bombs, which just destroy the throne room. Riri and Ramonda fall into the water. Ramonda wakes up and saves Riri just in time, but drowns herself. And Shuri has to watch her body. She finds her body with the rest of them, and she dies. This was a message from Namor. He just said, "You're queen now," to Shuri. "You're the queen now," and this was payback. Of course, Shuri wasn't gonna let this fly, which we all know. Shuri is queen now, and M'Baku, the greatest character ever in this whole universe. M'Baku is played by Winston Duke, and he's a fucking legend because M'Baku is such a great character. I love him. He was used as the comedic character for this movie because it's a pretty heavy movie, you know? It's a pretty heavy tone, a pretty good tearjerker. There's so much happening in 2 hours and 40 minutes. But M'Baku is great. He has a couple of serious scenes as well, but he's just, proud man. He gets up to her in the funeral and tells her that he promised her brother, so T'Challa, to take care of her when needed. And she's queen now. She's queen now, and all she wants to do right now is rip Namor's heart out. She's just broken. She hasn't even processed T'Challa yet. And now she has to mourn for her mother as well, which is so. It made it even more heavy. I couldn't imagine it, but it happens, and now she just wants payback. What happens next actually is what happened all the while of this. What I missed still is we also follow Ross Everett here, played by Martin Freeman. I already said that, but you know. And a character we've seen in the shows actually, which her name was... Oh my god. Val... Well, she's played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Valentina de la Fontaine, something Fontaine. But she is in here as well, and we only saw her in the shows recruiting the bad characters in the series, the MCU series, which I won't dive into deep here now. But we saw her in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we saw her in Hawkeye, and we saw her in Black Widow. She actually was in the end credit scene of Black Widow. And she turns out to be the director of the FBI and also Everett Ross' ex and boss. And she finds out that Everett has been helping Wakanda all this time and gets Everett arrested. Yeah, gets arrested. This has all been happening before because he helped them out with the student and helped the queen out with numerous calls and tips. And LaFontaine just knew all the time. So she gets him arrested, and this has been happening all the while. Now, Shuri wants to bring the war to Namor. And the only way to do that is make the flower. They need the Black Panther back. They need more power. She already made suits in the beginning of the movie, which Okoye hates, for the Dora Milaje. And the Dora Milaje, she only made 2. But she tells Okoye that she needs to wear the suits when they call upon her. And Okoye hates the suits, but, you know, they're strong suits, so fine. Riri, all the while, gets to make her own suit here. The first really good suit of Iron Man's, a kind of Iron Man suit. And Shuri is making the flower. She's just wanting the Black Panther back. They need the strength back, and they are gonna attack Namor. Also, this all happened because of the fucking machine Riri made. So, thanks Riri. Good on you. You made a machine that finds vibranium and vibranium and activated the feds, Wakanda, and Talokan on your ass. It's such a simple thing. My God. But they're going to bring the power back. And they're going to bring the war back to Namor. And Shuri does it. She actually does it. She makes the flower, the delicate flower they could only grow. She, what do you call it? Fakes one, makes one scientifically with AI, and it works. She drinks it, and then you gotta go to the ancestral plane, and you're gonna see who you wants to see what's in your heart, and she wants to see her mother, but that's not what's in her heart. She sees someone else. For a second there, I thought maybe she sees T'Challa on a CGI way, but that would just be dishonorable. So they didn't. But they see someone, which I didn't expect, Eric Killmonger. She finds, played by Michael B. Jordan once again, she finds him in the throne. And she sees him because all that's in her heart right now is killing Namor in the name of her ancestors. Which Eric did as well, of course. So it was a great twist. It's so hard for Shuri right now because so many things are on her shoulders. And she hates that she sees him. She wakes up from the trance the flower gets you into because you gotta drink it and then the trance and then you see your ancestors. She wakes up angry and she doesn't want to tell who she saw to Nakia because Nakia and Riri are there. And she, in anger, she punches a fucking what is it, doll, and punches it almost through the wall, knowing that it worked. She has the power. She has the power of the Black Panther. And she gets a new suit. She makes her own suit. It worked. Hype. And she goes to M'Baku, who got all the people to his mountain of the capital because of the dangers Namor forms to them. And she shows the Panther there. She has a little fight with M'Baku to show that he's stronger than M'Baku. And the Panther lives. And they take the fight to Namor. And she has a good scene here where M'Baku doesn't want to kill Namor anymore. In the beginning of the movie, he wanted to, but he knows now that if they kill Namor, it would mean endless war for their people, and he doesn't want that. But still, Shuri is consumed by anger and revenge and wants to get back on Namor, and she orders M'Baku to help, which was kind of hard to see. Okay, Shuri, I know it's hard, but fuck. I'm so sick. They get a huge-ass ship, get all them Wakandians on that ship and the M'Baku people from the mountain, and go to and make another machine for finding vibranium. They find out Namor's weakness is getting dry. He needs water. So they make a fucking sauna of a ship. So the plan here is capture Namor and get him on the ship, and then the Panther can scratch him open. And they get there on this huge-ass ship. The Talokan people fall for the trap and get supersonic because they have a supersonic device that makes them deaf underwater or, hurts them. And all the Wakandians are on the ship, and here the war begins. I mean, Namor flies up, and Riri here has her first suit, which looked kind of not a fan of the suit though, but it's growing on me that there's a new kind of Iron Man in the MCU. I don't know. We all miss Tony, and getting a new Iron Man. They don't even mention Tony. So I don't know. I'll get there. But she's a great character all the same. And she has to fight Namor because he can fly, of course. People crawling up to the ship get attacked by the Dore Milaje. They're on ropes and they gotta walk on the edge of the ship to fight off the blue people, the Smurfs. I don't know. Avatar: The Way of Water. I don't know what movie I was watching. But blue people coming from out of the water. And they're fighting him off. And Riri is fighting him off. And then the Panther comes in. Shuri comes in and fighting them off as well. It's great to see the Panther in action again. It looks fucking awesome. And then Riri gets it done to get Namor into the ship. I don't really know how she did it again. Oh, she hits him. She flies up to him, hit him, and he falls into the ship. And now Shuri gets into the ship, and people fighting off on the big ship because Shuri's on the flying ship. I don't know what you call it, the fucking UFO, for that matter. I don't know, but they're on the boat ship fighting, and Shuri goes with the flying sauna, which Namor is in, to kill him. She just really wants to kill him. It's hot in there, and Namor is losing his powers, but he's still strong. I mean, that guy is stronger than the fucking Hulk, it looks like. He just punched M'Baku in, when the war in Wakanda, he punched M'Baku through the fucking chest armor, and he threw him out over the water. He's amazingly strong. Nothing hurts him. Also, he has little ankle things. But he destroys the ship, actually. He gets weakened, but he destroys the ship with his spear, and the ship explodes over the desert because Shuri wanted to take him to the desert to get him weak. And they just have this amazing fight sequence in the desert with Shuri, the Panther, in Panther form, of course, and Namor fighting. And they're both so strong, and it's just, you don't know who's gonna die here. Maybe Shuri dies. Well, you don't expect it to, but this movie has been all about anything at this point. She rips off one of his wings, which it felt kind of good seeing him hurt, because it was kind of dark, this movie. He really was a villain here. Trying to do good for his people, but kind of being a dick. Yeah, that's the word. Fucking dick. And at a certain point, Shuri is just winning this. At a certain point, she gets stabbed first in her stomach with a huge spear. He's super weak at this point, being scratched, and his wings are off, and he's just, wow, all over the place, and he wants to go to the water. She rips off the spear, goes to him, let a certain engine behind him explode, which just burns him. I thought here, Namor's dead. It would have been sad, because Namor is such a great character, in pure MCU fashion. They would have killed him off in one movie, but they didn't, which I'm thankful for. She rolls him on his back and has a spear on his neck, and now is the time to decide whether she'll be Killmonger or T'Challa. And in this moment, she sees her mother, Ramonda, which says, "Show him who you are. Who are you really?" And she chooses to be good. She doesn't kill him. She says, "We will just protect your oceans. We will protect your people. We cannot be consumed by vengeance and let our people be consumed by it." All the while this is happening, we have cutaway shots of the ship on the water where they still have to fight, and Wakanda is losing this fight. But Okoye and another Dora Milaje, which I forgot the name of, Okoye and Aneka get in the big ass suits that Okoye hated, which I told you she hated. It's a blue suit. I don't know what it was called. It had a name, Midnight something. I don't know. I don't even remember. But they suited up in those two suits that Shuri made for them, which can fly, are extra strong, and that was fucking great to see, because it's a sort of super suit. It kind of looked like Iron Man again, but it wasn't. This is Wakandian. This is a Wakanda suit, and it looked kind of great. The colors are a bit, but it looked fucking awesome to see them fly in and get a lot of people in there, destroying. Wakanda is still losing all the same. There's so many Avatar Smurfs on the ship, getting them into a corner, and they're threatening to lose. But after the battle of Namor and Shuri is over, they get on the flying ship. There's so many ships. The flying thing, get back there and tell them it's a truce. They finished. Nobody's dying here. A lot of people died, but nobody's dying anymore. And they get an alliance. It's an alliance now. She could have killed Namor, and she didn't. After this, of course, this is kind of getting to the ending of the movie. After this, they go back to Wakanda, because she has seen that Wakanda and Talokan are so the same in their own ways. We see shots of Talokan, we see shots of Wakanda, and they're so alike in so many ways. But also, I didn't really I didn't really say what Shuri saw in Talokan. She saw a lot of people playing in Talokan, kids, and a huge vibranium kind of throne in place with the sun. It's not the sun, it's reflective light, but Namor brought the sun to his people to see, which Talokan was amazing, by the way. I know it's supposed to be Atlantis, but they didn't because copyright, but it looked fucking amazing to see Talokan. That's a side thing. I talked about this a while back, but it was fucking amazing. And then after the movie, we go back to Wakanda. Everything is settled, and Shuri gets time to mourn. Riri needs to go back to America. They hug. She needs to leave her suit there because, you know, she can't take that. But Riri is fine, happy to get what she can get. And Riri continues in her own Disney Plus show we are getting. So I'm curious about that. I really want to see that. Riri goes home, and Shuri goes to Haiti because Nakia told her a while back that if she ever needed a place to stay, she could stay in Haiti. So Shuri goes to Haiti and goes to the beach to burn the clothing that T'Challa was buried in. I believe it was something over the chest. Not the clothing he was buried in, of course not, but something with the funeral. And I gotta give a little context here. Before Namor came into Wakanda, to, you know, all the way in the beginning of the movie, the emotional scenes he had with her mother was that the mother was telling her to burn that, to mourn. And when she did it, she felt the presence of T'Challa. It was faint, but he was there. And Shuri didn't want to do it then. She didn't want to accept that the brother, well, she accepted that he's dead, but, you know, she didn't really mourn for him yet. And this whole movie takes place a year after the funeral, by the way. She didn't really mourn for him yet. Now go back to the end of the movie and she finally burns the cloth that she has. And then we get a very silent, emotional scene again where Letitia Wright, Shuri, is crying. And we see a lot of scenes where Chadwick Boseman is in as the Panther in the scenes from MCU where he interacts with her. It's just very tough, man. It's very tough to watch. And we actually believe that Letitia Wright was actually crying in that scene. Which, if it is true, you wouldn't look weird. It is so raw and true. And Ryan Coogler, the director, just did a fantastic job in getting this movie where it should be. His place in the MCU. And also the story continuing on without the late Chadwick Boseman to play the Panther. It was just a very raw and tough movie to watch. It's hard. And he's missed. He truly is missed. The movie ends on that note. And we get a mid-credit scene as well. There is a credit scene where Nakia comes to the beach where she's sitting with a boy and tells her that the boy is the son of T'Challa. He actually had a son with Nakia, and she left after Endgame because it would be safer for people not to know that he had a son. He's called Croissant. No, he's called Toussaint. Toussaint. He's called Toussaint, and well, that's just his Haitian name. And Shuri is just flabbergasted by this. Can't believe it. Her mother kept this from her as well, and Shuri asks him what's his name in Wakanda. What's his real name? And his name is T'Challa, which was just very sad to see, very emotional to see. It was amazing, but Letitia Wright plays it again. Awesome, almost tearing up, holding it back, being happy and sad at the same time. And there's a legacy that T'Challa left behind in this kid, in Croissant. Toussaint. And that's where the movie ends. Yeah. So what would I say here? In terms, this actually ended Phase 4 of the MCU. And now we're going into phase 5 with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, where we're gonna see more of Kang, because we're building up to the Avengers movie in 2025, and Kang has been introduced in Loki, and we'll see Kang back in the next movie, the first movie of phase 5. Phase 4 has been a lot ups and downs, a lot of introductions, of course, as well. So, you know, we're continuing onward, but this was a perfect finale to phase 4. It's a sad, emotional ride with a couple of laughs. MCU usually does way too much humor. Not here. It's perfect. Namor is awesome. They actually cast somebody who's not really familiar with Hollywood. It was a Mexican actor. Tenoch Huerta, do I say that right? Tenoch Huerta is Spanish-Mexican actor who wasn't really familiar with Hollywood. Plays him and just does a phenomenal job. He's amazing in the role. And every single actor and actress in this movie does a great job. Just all around great. I fucking love it. I really love this movie in the MCU. It really needed this boost. It was emotional, it was funny, it was action-packed. It was 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is very long, but I believe they needed every minute to tell this story. Yeah, I can't tell you anymore. It was just amazing, and I'll give it an 8. I'll rate this an 8. It was awesome. I know I gave Elvis a 9. Maybe I gotta reconsider my ratings, but Elvis was awesome. I fucking loved Elvis. But I'll give Black Panther Wakanda Forever an 8 for good storytelling, good writing, good actors and actresses. It was great all around, emotional ride. If you haven't seen anything of the MCU, you don't even have to. If you really only want to see this movie, watch the first Black Panther and watch the second one after each other. You can. You definitely can. You won't miss a thing. And just know that in the meantime, Chadwick Boseman passed away, which makes Wakanda Forever really packs a punch, and it's horrible that it happened. And I can't imagine what the actor and actresses went through filming this, missing their friend, co-star, colleague, all together. So this movie was just an amazing package. Worth your watch? Yes. Worth buying on Blu-ray? Yes, if you're a collector. Worth seeing in the theaters? Yes, you should, because the theaters are the ultimate experience for a movie. And this is one of them. 8 out of 10, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys.